Thanks for tuning in to KGPR. We're talking today with Great Falls native Reggie Watts, who will be performing Saturday, January 5th at the UGF Theater. This is a fundraiser for the UGF Performing Arts Department. Reggie has garnered national attention with his unique stage show that incorporates his talents in both comedy and music. People who recognize Reggie around town often do so not because he's regularly on Comedy Central or IFC, but because he was raised here and graduated from Great Falls High. Welcome to KGPR, Reggie.
Hey, welcome to you too.
Now, you've got a show coming up January 5th at the University of Great Falls. It's a fundraiser to help the UGF Performing Arts Department raise money to take in the New York Musical Theater Festival. How did you get involved with this fundraiser?
I was asked by Mike Gilbo, and that's basically it. He just told me what it was for, and it sounded like a good cause, so I just went for it.
What type of show are you going to be putting on?
My usual show, just a bunch of improvisation crap. I like to call it crap. No, it's just me, just having fun time, goofing around stage, trying to, perform to the room and make it entertaining as possible.
Do you have to change it up at all for a show like this, where you have, where it is a fundraiser and you might have more of an all ages audience?
Yeah, I basically, just kind of get ready for, it just depends on the venue. I kind of have like an automatic transmission for that. Like depending on the situation, my show kind of adapts to what people will dig or not, or, what's appropriate or not. So, it's kind of automatic. I don't really have to prepare too much for it.
Well, it's obviously a very unique show, combining your sampling machine with music and comedy. Talk a little bit about that, about being able to bring so many elements to a gig where it's just you on stage, but it feels like it's so much more.
Oh, well, it's kind of a mixture of so many different things that I'm interested in. So for me, it just seems like one thing. But definitely for, the audience, hopefully it, seems to be, a lot of it has to do with not being too boring on stage. And that can happen, but hopefully if I mix it up and do a lot of the various things that I'm interested in, then it all works out.
What goes through your mind when you've got 15 different elements working at the same time?
Not a lot. It's a lot of it is just kind of listening to intuition. And intuition, and just, keeping myself open to different possibilities of expressing those intuitions. So it's not really a ton of thinking. It's mostly just maintaining things to be open inside my mind, I suppose.
Is it you've performed out here obviously a few times? Is it different for you performing in front of a home crowd in Great Falls compared to other places?
It's a little bit different in that I'm from here, so I know some elements of living here. But other than that, it's kind of the same. Yeah, it's mostly the same, I would say.
You've exploded in recent years, where you've made regular appearances on Cone, and you're a big part of IFC with Comedy Bang Bang. You've been on Delocated. It goes on and on. What has been the highlight so far for you in terms of people you've had the opportunity to work with, or shows you've had a part of?
Comedy Bang Bang has been pretty amazing, just because so many people come through the show, so I get to work with so many incredible working comedians and actors of our time, and that's really amazing.
Comedy Bang Bang is definitely one of those unique, off the cuff kind of comedies where it almost seems like you guys are just goofing off at times.
A lot of it is just goofing off. So there's a structure to it, but and a lot of the written stuff has kind of gone through first, but after we do that a couple times, then it just opens up for improvisation. So it's pretty cool.
You and I have talked in the past about your music career with Maktub and the solo albums, and living in Seattle, and it really seemed like things really started to swing in your favor once you moved to New York to pursue comedy. Is this the path that you were expecting, or has this come as a surprise to you?
I mean, I guess it's not. It's kind of a surprise. It's like I always try to keep myself in an area where I'm open to open to things not working out. But it it's so when things do happen, it's kind of a surprise. But it's kind of like, well, I guess that kind of makes sense. We did our best job, and there's a good reaction from it. So not hyper surprising, but a little bit.
Please love it when he stops by. Please welcome our good friend, the very talented Reggie Watts.
Thank you very much. There's a lot of you guys worried about it's Brown History Week is coming up. As a brown person, I understand difficulties of brownness. And there's a profoundness to this brownness. And I think that by the year 2000, at some point, we will have answers to why brown is so hard to get down with. This is a song that I wrote about brownness. It's, if you like anything that you enjoy, then you'll probably find this palatable. So let's check it out. Gonna give you love down, 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 and rolling down, rolling down. Come on, get your love down, get your down, the sound in the back now. You get a piece of the ceiling now, get a change out, get the love. day in the end. There is no time to be here when all is out there. I feel a way to breathe, lighting in the way I see. That's the song, that's the song. That's the song, that's the song. Tell me how long. That's the song, that's the song. Before we hear that song, it makes you feel happy. In the end, that's the song, that's the song. I hope we know it's ours. Tell me how long before we hear that song. When we know that's the song, that's the song. We feel ourselves to fly. Tell me how long. That's the song, that's the song. Before we hear that song, it makes you feel happy. When we know that's the song, that's the song. We feel ourselves to
All right, in case you just joined us, we're talking with Reggie Watts, comedian, musician, former Great Falls resident, Great Falls High graduate, bringing his show A Man Behind Time to Great Falls January 5th. It's a fundraiser for the UGF Performing Arts Department. Well, tell me a little bit about the latest on the music front.
I mean, it's always a balance for me with getting into comedy. I just had to spend more energy doing comedy just to kind of get that rolling. Music that I'd already done for a long time, so that seems kind of second nature. So, it's just catching up and then trying to make good decisions to, incorporate that aspect in the future as well, like doing more music or, doing a music album or something like that, or incorporating it in what I do in a different way or something like that.
Well, we also talked in the past before about the nature of comedy, especially when you're getting to the level that you're at, and you're in New York and you're playing clubs and whatnot, and trying to get to a certain point. Is there a point where you felt like that you not only were in the door but you were in the room?
I mean, with Invite Them Up, which was a comedy night in Manhattan when I first moved over there in 2003, that was kind of the place that you kind of knew pretty quickly if things were going to work out for you or not. So I would say that night was kind of the night for me.
Is there anything in particular that happened that night where you were just like, this is it?
It's mostly just being on stage and having people respond favorably, and probably the most important aspect is, the promoters asking you back.
Whether you're talking about music or comedy, whenever somebody can bring something that no one's really ever seen before, it really sparks an interest. And obviously with your comedy and your stage setup, you don't look at that and go, well, he's doing the same thing this guy's doing. And then because you've done it, if some other guy comes along to do it, you'd say, oh, he's just being Reggie Watts. How cool is it for you to have that niche where you've come up with something that is going to be yours as long as you're doing it?
I mean, it's great. I mean, it's, you kind of allow yourself to do what you do, and you don't compromise what you're, you don't compromise what you're about, and then having people respect that and come to know you as that and hire you for that is it's the ultimate goal, I think, of any generative artist. It's an amazing feeling. And a lot of it has to do with just survival. It's the only way I can really do things. So it just had to be this way, or I guess it just wouldn't have worked.
Is there a particular place where you choose to come up with new material?
I'm always coming up with new material. Everything that I hear or see, that kind of does it for me.
So it's not something where you're sitting in your living room doing it, and your neighbors are like, "Oh man, Reggie's back at it."
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Well, I know you regularly come back to Great Falls to visit, see you every once in a while around town. Talk about Great Falls in general and what makes it still at home for you.
It's my mom lives here. I have a few friends that still live here. And just memories of growing up here. That's mainly it. I like just coming back and chilling out and not having to do a lot of crazy things.
All right. Well, we'd like to thank Reggie Watts for joining us today here on KGPR. And before we let you go, Reggie, tell us one more time about the show coming up in a few days.
Yeah, I'm doing the Great Falls University show benefit for the theater department to go to the Fringe Festival and the New York Theater Fringe Festival to perform there, and so I'm doing a benefit for them and get the money raised so that they can fly over there.
All right, so there you go. Reggie Watts will be performing his show Man Behind Time at the UGF Theater January 5th. Tickets are $20 per person, $25 day of the show. We're going to close this show with Reggie singing with his old band Mock Tube and doing a killer cover of Led Zeppelin's No Quarter. Right here on 89.9 FM, KGPR, Great Falls.